Last season, Ulster made it all the way to the Pro 12 final, but it was Brian O'Driscoll's Leinster who were crowned the champions. This season is just one game old, and despite taking the lead against the Dragons last week, Ulster lost their opening game as Jason Tovey kicked the Welsh to a win. A poor, spiritless performance was the assessment of the Ulster coach, whose players arrived tonight knowing much improvement is required. Good evening. It's a new season of Ulster Rugby Live, and since we were last here at Ravenhill 4 months ago, there's been quite a lot going on. The next phase of a multi-million-pound revamp is underway. By the end of last month, 2 new stands were up and the old grandstand was down. It's in the process of being rebuilt. The capacity of the ground will increase to 18,000 when the work is completed next summer. So the new Ravenhill is really starting to take shape. This is where the main grandstand and terrace will be rebuilt. Room for about 7,000 people in there in total. The new Memorial End holds almost 4,000. There are bars, shops and an education centre in there as well. The terracing in front of the existing stand has been moved closer to the action. That is what the fans requested. And at the Aquinas end, there's another impressive stand, which also houses Ulster's new training base and gym, and of course our new studio as well. Underneath are the new dressing rooms. These will eventually move back into the new grandstand, but for now this is where the Ulster players, including out half Paddy Jackson, are getting ready for tonight's big game. Well, joining me here in the studio for this first home game of the new season, delighted to welcome Andy Ward and Scott Hastings. Andy, first of all, what do you make of this transformation?
Oh, it's truly phenomenal. It's just amazing to just sit here, and it looks a little vacant on one side with the old stand. It's just been standing there for so many years, and it's a bit of an iconic thing, but thankfully it's gone, and now we're onto a new era, and it just looks absolutely tremendous. The facilities are state of the art.
Scott, great to have you in Belfast tonight. This is going to be a tricky home game for Ulster because Glasgow have been going from strength to strength, and a win last week, of course.
Yeah, very much so. The momentum certainly is with Glasgow. Very strong end to the season last year, and also they've started strongly this year. As you said, Cardiff Blues, strong win. Gregor Townsend's created a really, really good, happy squad, and we're looking forward to seeing the Lions players from Glasgow. Stuart Hogg at full-back. We know his counter-attacking ability is strong. Ryan Grant up front as well, and some real names in Josh Strauss, the hard-carrying number 8 for Glasgow. Glasgow have got a good team at this moment in time.
Well, let's hear what the Ulster coach makes of tonight's opposition. Mark Anscombe is talking to Gavin Andrews.
You know, they're a quality team, and they got the semi-finals and pushed Leinster all the way last year, and we know from playing them 4 times last year, everyone was a tough battle, and so tonight's going to be no different.
Disappointment last week. Can the home fans be a factor tonight?
Oh, I hope so. You know, we didn't perform to what we should expect of ourselves, and that's as simple as that, and we got to step up and do that tonight, and you know, we've got to give the fans something to look forward to having a good season, and not second guessing ourselves, and we've got to get out there and express ourselves and show what we're capable of playing like.
Best of luck.
Cheers.
Cheers, Mark.
Andy, it is obviously very early in the season, but surely losing the first 2 games is absolutely unthinkable for Ulster and their coach Mark Anscombe.
Very much so. You know, we've got to the stage now where we feel it's an expectation for Ulster to always do well. The last couple of seasons they've gone out, they've done what is expected of them to do. To fall at their very first hurdle this season, everybody's sort of in a bit of a panic already, but there's a long, long way to go. But certainly we don't want to be losing these early points. They're very, very hard to pick up as teams start to generate and build momentum as the season progresses. Ulster certainly won't be left behind.
Interesting battle tonight, I'm sure we'll all be looking out for. Jackson against Jackson at out half, Scott.
Yeah, Andy and I were just discussing before the game there about the relative depths of where the fly halves play, and in many respects Paddy Jackson, under a little bit of more pressure, is started to play deeper as the pressure comes on. He needs to get his back line up and running and moving, whereas Rory Jackson got himself back into a Scotland jersey for the summer tour to South Africa, and again you're looking for consistency from a fly half that will command the game and distribute good ball.
Andy, all the fans come here tonight loving this brand new stadium with a lot of expectation, I'm sure, as well. Does that put a little bit more pressure on Ulster to deliver a 5-star performance tonight?
I don't think they'll be really that fussed, or not too. Don't get me wrong, they obviously want to perform for the crowd and for the fans, so certainly. but I think their main priority is to do and undo all the work they did last week and just put it right and get themselves back on that winning formula, because everybody knows, and if you start winning, it becomes a habit, and that's what they want to do. They don't want to start losing. That also becomes a habit.
Okay, Andy, Scott, thank you very much indeed. These two teams met 4 times last season. Ulster won 3 of them, but it's always a very tight fixture. Let's join our commentary team for this evening. Ryan Constable, but first, good evening to Jim Neely.
And it is, Stephen, and chaps, a very, very good evening indeed. Ravenhill, well, basking in some delightful autumnal sun, which unfortunately is going to be shining in an eye or two. 3 changes in the Glasgow forwards. British and Irish line, Ryan Grant back in the front row, abrasive South African Josh Stripes at number 8, and Richie Gray's baby brother is in the second row. Scots internationals Rory Jackson, Stuart Hogg, Tommy Seymour and Canadian flyer Van der Merwe are back, and Sean Lamont moves to the centre. It really is a splendid evening here at Ravenhill, and the last Scottish side incidentally to win at Ravenhill was this side, Glasgow, way back in February of 2009. So more than 4.5 years have elapsed, and Ulster will be aiming to keep it exactly that way. Ulster in no rush whatsoever. A very, very, well, to be blunt, mediocre performance against the Dragons in Newport, and from this man leading them out for the 52nd time to the guys on the bench. They know exactly what's expected of them this evening. It's about as packed a house as you can get at Ravenhill. That's what's well, used to be the new stand. It's now, well, the old stand. It's the oldest of the stands. And out come Ulster, Johan Muller leading them out with the team mascots. And what a wonderful evening. 1 or 2 people not even with coats or sweaters on. Well, those 2 youngsters will be keep that picture forever and ever, I'm pretty sure. Well, Callum Black's again preferred to Lions prop Tom Court. Declan Fitzpatrick starts. Back to is Nick Williams, last year's Player of the Year. Roger Wilson moves to open side flanker, and Sean Doyle is back from injury at open side flanker. And the backs, Ulster missing their 3 first-choice wings, so David McIlwain moves across to the right wing. Michael Allen starts on the left. Darren Cave returns to partner Luke Marshall at centre, and scrum half Ian Porter plays his first professional game. Plenty of strength in both replacement panels. Ulster with 4 internationals and Glasgow with 5. Referee this evening is from Bridgend, the 35-year-old Ian Davis, and well, no longer the sole arbiter of fact because of the change in protocol involving the TMO. He can go up to the TMO not just for tries being scored, but reasons why they can't be scored, and also he can go to the TMO and indeed the big screen to decide if foul play has been committed.
Yeah, contrasting fortunes for these 2 teams in the opening match of this Pro 12 series. Ulster be looking to rebound with a performance that has urgency and commitment from the kickoff.
British and Irish line, Stuart Hogg gets it away. Little bit of a fumble for Nick Williams, who played in the opening friendly against Leinster and then went back to his native New Zealand on family business, compassionate leave, so to speak. But that very clever restart kick has put Glasgow right into Ulster's 22. Ian Porter let go by Ulster, and spent a year plying his trade as a civil engineer, which is what he did at Queen's University when he was an outstanding player there. And this is his first competitive start. Gets in ahead of Paul Marshall. Pat MacArthur, the 26-year-old Scottish hooker, got his only cap to date against Samoa in the 4 Nations tournament in South Africa during the summer. Plenty of line-out options there. Well stolen by Ulster. Back to Porter. Jackson. Luke Marshall. Cave gets it away. Nicely done by McIlwain, and the pass may well have been forward. Well, great adventure by Ulster, but when you exercise that level of adventure, Ryan, you've got to make it work. That was close.
Yeah, the option was certainly there. They had the numbers on the overlap. The referee just adjudicating on this decision that that pass was forward, but certainly applauded. If it's on, it's on. It doesn't matter where on the pitch you are. And Ulster creating that small overlap, but just inability to execute with that precision could have led to something more.
Well, a nice sidestep by David McIlwain. So the first time this season here at Ravenhill, we're going to see the new sequence in terms of scrummaging. crouch, bind, and then set, and then the scrum half must put the ball down the middle.
Set. Yes, 9.
Oh, that didn't look desperately straight, I have to say. Control at the back by Josh Stroud. What a good squeeze by Ulster, and the Glasgow put in. Terrific bit of scrummaging by the Ulster front row. It was Roger Wilson who rescued it. Crowd applauding. Ian Porter. Well, that was a marker set down, Ryan.
Yeah, set piece is where you get a lot of momentum in the game, and early on it's Ulster who've stamped their authority. The stolen line out initially, and then a scrum against the head. A rarity in the modern game. Hopefully with more of an even contest, we'll see more of those turnovers.
Well, Glasgow didn't get the heel properly affected. Better line out, only 19 years of age. Johnny Gray, younger brother of Scottish and British and Irish Lion, Big Richie. Captain of the Scottish under-20 side in the most recent Junior World Cup. Piergoss, the captain, put a bit of width in that to the promising 20-year-old Mark Bennett. Piergoss again. Solid tackling by Ulster. Great work by Nick Williams, but back on the Glasgow side, Sean Lamont. Glasgow looking for quick ball. They've got loads of pace in the wing, in the shape of Tommy Seymour and the Canadian flyer DTH van der Merwe. Little foot out there by Ulster. Michael Allen is chasing this one down. Wonderful tackling by Allen. That's gone backward. Referee's hand indicating that no knock forward by Glasgow here. They come again. Oh, good sidestep by Tommy Seymour. Scored the crucial try against Cardiff last week. Away by Ryan Grant, the Lion. Got 3 appearances in Australia earlier this summer. Still there for Glasgow despite all Ulster's efforts. Big tackling by Ulster going in the middle of that park. Piergoss again. Rory Jackson. Well, that's nicely spread. Strauss with a bit of room. Decided to ignore van der Merwe. Piergoss, oh, there's a bit of a gap there. Ryan Grant goes through it. This is good stuff by Glasgow. Rory Jackson. Glasgow back inside Ulster's 22. Ed Kalman. Good work by Sean Doyle and Williams. Bit of an overlap here. That's a handy bounce for Glasgow. Ulster have got to be quick in getting back. All the pressure coming from the men in blue and black. Still there for Glasgow. Still Ulster hang on. That went backwards, says the referee. Here's Ryan Grant, who scored against Ulster before. Piergoss. Surely now Rory Jackson. Knocked forward. Referee has given the penalty for a high tackle by Ulster. Now will Glasgow go for the scrum? They may go for the post. 3 points for Ulster to concede, better than 7, one presumes.
Yeah, tremendous conditions to play ball and hand rugby, and we've seen that from Glasgow offloading in the tackle. That is high. It's not more than a tackle, you wouldn't have thought.
Stick with the penalty. Player coming across clearly.
Now the referee Ian Davis has gone upstairs to the TMO Peter Ferguson, and he will ask Peter Ferguson if it's any more than a penalty. If Peter Ferguson recommends a yellow card, then Johan Muller will be in the bin, but no recommendation has come through. This could lengthen rugby games from here on in, Ryan, because an awful lot of these incidents, and instead of the referee being the sole arbiter of fact, as used to be in the old days, has got to go upstairs to his TMO.
There's so much at stake and difficult for one man on the pitch to be able to see everything. As long as it's decisive action, when correct. Things are referred, that's all you can ask for. Correct decision, and the outcome is now an opportunity for 3 points to Glasgow.
Peter Ferguson telling the 35-year-old financial advisor from Bridgend, Ian Davis, in his 9th Pro 12 game, that the decision was correct, so it's just a penalty and not a yellow card against Ulster skipper Johan Muller. This is going to give Stuart Hogg Hogg is fortunate that the sun is just being hidden behind the Aquinas stand, so no problems with that shining in his eyes, and no problems with that kick right between the Ulster posts. Just wavered a little bit, and that's a very good start for the side that has got to the semi-finals in 3 of the last 4 years.
A just reward for some outstanding attacking play. It's the players getting behind the ball carrier, particularly in counter-attack, giving that ball carrier options. A real desire to keep the ball off the ground, offload in the tackle, and that's what breaks defences down.
Well, it took a little while for Glasgow just to buy into the sort of game that the former Scotland and Lions outside half, Gregor Townsend, their outstanding coach, wanted to play, but really they had a great season last year and were maybe a little bit unfortunate not to have gone further, but they've given away a penalty, and this looks within kicking range for Ulster. So that's exactly what Ulster had to do. Got straight back. The penalty was given away by the South African Tyrone Holmes, the 27-year-old, a new signing for Glasgow this season.
Yeah, Rob Herring it was, the player just getting isolated, opportunity to get over the ball, claim that. Referee very quick to spot the infringement, and perfect opportunity for Ulster now to try and bring back that 3-point margin.
Good tackle by Declan Fitzpatrick. Henry Pearcross, the Glasgow skipper, claiming that Fitzpatrick was not preventing the ball coming back, but the referee decided that the ball was being held in by the Glasgow player. Sir Paddy Jackson tended to be off target a week ago in Newport, needs this one. The crowd seem to like it, and more importantly the touch judges like it, and Paddy Jackson will certainly be heartened by that. Well, that's the way to answer any critics and answer his own demons. Very well struck by Paddy Jackson.
Yeah, been kicking very well in practice all week and translating onto the pitch importantly for Ulster. Nice confidence booster for the first one.
Almost 8 minutes gone, back to level pegging. Stuart Hogg again, he's given that plenty of height. Knocked forward by Glasgow, pulled in by Michael Allen.
Advantage White.
Still playing advantage. Porter. Jackson.
No advantage coming in.
And the referee in Davis decides that Ulster didn't get any advantage in that because they were forced to kick into touch, which would have been a Glasgow line-out. So Ulster will go back for the scrum. Just knocked forward there by Johnny Gray. Lots of people, including the very knowledgeable chairman of this particular league and chairman and manager of the recent Lions, Andy Irvin, say that he's every bit as good as his big brother.
Crouch. Bind. Set.
Declan Fitzpatrick up against British and Irish Lion Ryan Grant. Scrum was a bit low, shoved by Pearcross. It's gone down on the Ulster tight head side. It was very low to begin with.
Okay, White. Keep your arm, White. Keep your armour. Bind, please.
Tom Court on the bench for Ulster. John Afoa to come back from a slight injury and a bit of surgery during the summer. And of course, Rory Best still to come back.
Yeah, wealth of riches still to come into this Ulster side, and a victim of their own success as they get more players into that national side. They tour in the summer through the player welfare management system. They come back later, and Ulster are going to have to start dealing with that more and more.
Bind.
There was one game last year, I seem to remember, where Ulster were minus with injury and international requirements, something like 22 players. Down it goes again. Referee, I think, is pretty happy. It's coming down back on the Ulster side, and Ulster, despite having a front row on the ground, have got it away. Jackson, Luke Marshall, thought about the loop to Jackson. Porter has a little sortie himself and does well. He spilt it forward. Referee didn't see that well. Ulster got away with it. Callum Black takes it forward. Porter looking for a runner. Goes open. Jared Payne. Niles Cave away to Michael Allen. The characteristic chip and chase, but well covered by Hogg.
Black, stop. Keep him
And what a good kick now. Oh, that's bounced nastily. Paddy Jackson.
White, come out. Hold on.
Taken by Glasgow. Little chip into the middle. Was that deliberate? Referee says no. Porter. Payne. Has to run laterally. Needs somebody to help him. Good covering tackle by Rob Harley. One of 11 internationals on the Glasgow starting 15. Porter. Muller. Good clearing out by Rob Herring. Ooh, that's a perler by Porter. Jackson knocks it on. Herring. Porter, now Payne. For Allen to chase. Bounces nicely for Michael Allen. Good covering by Glasgow. It's still there for Ulster if they can manage it.
It was accidental offside. It's kicked forward into the player in front. Accidental scrum back.
Kick forward by Ulster off the supporting player into Michael Allen. So it's a Glasgow scrum. But what a beautifully placed kick by Jared Payne.
Yeah, perfectly weighted. The identification from the turnover ball that the space was out wide, it was transferred to the wider channels, and then the vision of Jared Payne to place that ball. Excellent chase through. Unfortunate for the knock-on for Ulster. Just undid that field position.
You can close yourself on, okay?
Well, on a perfect evening for rugby, and the sun is now setting, so we won't be bothered by it. It's been pretty exciting, and I haven't even had time to enjoy the little sweet that was given to me by the citing commissioner, the former outstanding Irish international rugby referee John West, who's an old buddy from yesteryear. Like the doyen of rugby commentators, Bill McLaren, John seems to carry
nothing material. You're still going forward.
A packet of sweeties in his pocket everywhere he goes. So thanks for that. Looks like Tommy Seymour, formerly of Ulster, the man born in Nashville, Tennessee, has got injured.
Time on, please, Peter.
Qualified for Scotland through a grandparent and won 2 caps in South Africa this summer, playing against South Africa and Italy.
A lot of pace snap back 3 from Glasgow. Ulster will need to be very accurate in their kicking out of hand. Good, strong chasing line. Ensure that they don't provide any counter-attacking opportunities and broken play.
So Ulster have looked pretty impressive in the opening scrummages. Can they do it again? Roger Wilson out of position, perhaps on the flank. Better scrum by Glasgow. They've really dug in. Josh Strauss. Pyrgos. Lamont, who was very big. Pyrgos, captain in Glasgow this evening in the absence of the injured Alistair Kellock. Now capped 9 times for Scotland, Henry Pyrgos.
Yeah, very efficient exit there from Glasgow from their own 22. Set the target, created a bit more of an angle for the kicker, and then a clearance almost to the halfway. Straight off the practice pitch, very well executed.
Ulster have shortened the line out. They've taken a couple of men out of it. Porter just held on to the pass a wee bit more, gets it away this time. Nick Williams. Good abrasive stuff by Williams into his opposite number, Strauss. Winning that particular battle. Porter, well picked up by Jackson. Luke Marshall. Solid looking tackle. Porter gets it away nicely. Roger Wilson. Penalty is going to Ulster. Referee is playing advantage. Callum Black sets it up on the Glasgow 10-metre line. Porter, Jackson, Jared Payne, good angle, good offload. Declan Fitzpatrick, Roger Wilson. Abrasive stuff from the Irish international. Porter misses out Williams. Cave gets it to McElwain. Advantage is over, according to the referee. Porter, much livelier by Ulster than a week ago in Newport. Porter again, Williams, what a difference he makes. Away to Wilson, these two are working well together. Now Porter, Marshall, what a sidestep. Nudged it forward, and they're going to come back for the penalty. And great Ulster pressure, and they deserve something out of that.
Yeah, excellent work once again. It's that commitment to keep the ball off the ground. The big ball carriers, Williams, Wilson getting involved, but keeping that ball off the ground. Excellent footwork by Marshall, and then that last pass just bringing the move undone. But penalty advantage allowed Ulster to try those speculative offloads, and certainly looking a lot livelier, far more line breaks this week than previously. A lot down to that man, Nick Williams.
Well, he really does stop people in their tracks, whether he's tackling them or whether they have to tackle him. And a nice little bit of a sidestep there by Luke Marshall in his preferred position of inside centre, with Darren Cave in his preferred position of outside centre.
In front of the hind foot.
And Paddy Jackson, with a quarter of an hour almost gone, this chance to give Ulster the lead. The memorial stand with the recently opened Nevin Spence Education Centre, absolutely packed. Hard to believe it's been a year since we had to say farewell to Nevin. His father and his brother. And Paddy Jackson has done everybody proud and has added Ulster's second penalty. And 2 out of 2 for Paddy Jackson. And Ulster, with just over 15 minutes gone, go into the lead for the first time.
Yeah, and something that was missing last week that's been addressed. Ulster going away with points when the opportunity presents itself. Through the agency of the boot, but nonetheless a 6-3 margin developed, and as Ulster get into that 22, it's vital that they convert those opportunity into points on the scoreboard.
I don't think Paddy Jackson would complain, but last Friday night in Newport, it was as black as night, it really was. Better reception of the restart by Ulster. Porter from inside his 22, and he's curled that very nicely. It's been an amazing return to Ulster colours for Ian Porter. At the end of a couple of seasons ago, he was deemed surplus to requirement, and he was playing club rugby for Banbridge all last season, offered the chance to come in a 6-month contract, and here he is fulfilling a lifetime ambition to start his first competitive game for his province.
Well, with Ruan Pinar away for large stretches of the season, Ulster ensuring that they have enough depth in one of those key decision-making positions and acquitting himself well.
Rory Jackson looking for the intercept. It was David McIlwain. A dangerous game that, but the pass to the flying Canadian DTH van der Merwe, born in South Africa 27 years ago, wasn't a very good one. Just as well for Ulster, because this fella can really fly.
There was certainly space out wide. Jared Payne was coming across to take the last man, but would have created an opportunity had that gone to hand.
Great take by Muller. Porter had to spin. Well, he's put just about the right amount of weight on that up in the air, but Ulster let him get down and have hustled him into touch. Not so. Van der Merwe managed to get the ball away quite nicely. Pyrgos will be looking for a runner. Gray sweeps it away to Strauss, who runs into Williams. Well, the battle of these two bruising number 8's well worth the admission price. Pyrgos didn't quite get that right, and that is going to be an Ulster line-out.
Josh Strauss, a hugely important man in this Glasgow team. He's one of the few players in the team that are capable of turning poor quality possession into go-forward ball. Huge bulk in his play, very clever footballer as well, and he can get Glasgow out of trouble.
A wee bit of a nudge there by Henry Pyrgos on David McIlwain. Didn't matter. Muller again. Great pass by Porter. Luke Marshall.
Black knock on white.
Bit of a snatch at it back in the Glasgow side. Refereeing, saying the advantage is over. Well taken by Payne. Not so well kicked by Payne. Porter has to get back, and he does. Well, Porter's done extremely well to make that available. Paddy Jackson goes into scrum half, but Ulster conceded some 50 metres. Good graft by Wilson. Jackson back in position. Well, that's a tiring Gary Owen. Van der Merwe knocks it back. Gathered in by the covering Strauss. I think it was just nudged forward. Referee initially said it wasn't. Maybe it was Strauss knocked it forward. The first one, did this go forward? No, that went back, and then Strauss came in and he just tipped it forward. Fingertip stuff.
Glasgow haven't dealt very well with the high ball. It's obviously an area Ulster are targeting. A number of kicks have gone into that wider channel, and Dan Tui certainly making his presence felt.
Not for the first time this season. Ryan Grant, the man with the tattooed arm there on the loose head side of the Glasgow scrummage, called into the British and Irish Lions tour as a replacement prop, and did particularly well. Good work by Ulster. Nick Williams, Porter, Paddy Jackson, Luke Marshall. They're using that inside ball a lot. Marshall has to release, and he does. Porter got caught. Well taken by Williams. Penalty against Glasgow.
Make an effort, please, take it away.
Ed Calman, the tight head prop, not making sufficient effort to get away in the tackle. Former Cambridge Blue, Ed Calman, so brawn and brains.
Yeah. Johan Muller just having a quick check in with Paddy Jackson whether this is a kick he wants to take on, and given the first 2 kicks, confidence soaring. 45-metre odd kick, certainly keen to take it on.
And Kelman, who's got himself a couple of Scottish caps as well, is a very, very experienced Glasgow side. Still a lot of players to come back through injury. Glasgow have more internationals on their squad than any other Pro 12 side this season. 28. In that aspect, they've actually overtaken Treviso, who've lost a couple. So Paddy Jackson, one of half a dozen Ulster players to be capped in the last 12 months. Just about at the very limit of his range, I would think. Confident kick, a good strike, and he's made it. That's the best kick of the evening from Paddy Jackson, and an appreciative, mainly home crowd acknowledged that Jackson may well have put the Newport Blues behind him. And from an Ulster point of view, let's hope so. 9-3 now to Ulster.
Excellent kicking from the ground, and a real authority in his play this evening. Looking very comfortable out there with a young backline.
Straight into the welcoming arms of Nick Williams.
Use the line back, use the line.
Tyrion Muller just waiting. Jackson.
Stop, too wide, stop.
Slight miscue, and hasn't found touch. Strauss. Bit of a stumble. Taken round the ankles by Ulster and by Callum Black. Oh, that's cleverly done. This could bounce handily for Van der Merwe. He's decided to kick. Can he control it? He's knocked it forward. And that's dotted down by Darren Cave. And Ulster very, very lucky to get away with that. That's a lovely little variation in the middle of the park by Rory Jackson. That's what all class outside halves are capable of doing. Payne did very sensibly, not really to interfere. My word, that was close.
Yeah, excellent identification. Ulster have very quick line speed, and as they come up quickly, that kick behind is the perfect option. Just hoping that Van der Merwe is okay after falling awkwardly headfirst into those posts. Thankfully, the protectors are there, and he managed to hunch the shoulders and take a bit more of that pressure across the shoulders rather than the head. But very good cover by Porter on that occasion to make that a contest right at the ground.
Time is off,
well, GTH Van der Merwe will be very sore in the morning, I'm pretty sure. That was very nearly the opening try. But it was a clever kick by the astute Rory Jackson to see the space. Ulster closing the Glasgow backline down very quickly. 23 minutes played, Ulster leading by 9 points to 3.
9. Crouch. Bind. Set. Yes, 9. Stay down, 7.
Williams gets it away. Porter's got himself caught. Penalty against Glasgow. And it was against Ryan Grant, I think, the Glasgow loosehead prop for turning the scrum in. And Porter's down injured. I hope it's not too serious. Gareth Robinson, Ulster's physiotherapist and main medic man, on straight away. Good clearance by Paddy Jackson. Ian Porter seems to be okay. That was the scrum was just collapsing. Porter was standing pretty far away, and Glasgow up very quickly on Ian Porter. Short line out. Ooh, just got away no more. Porter has a dash himself and does well. Tackled by Kalman. Muller at scrum half. Declan Fitzpatrick at outside half. A very unlikely half-back combination. Callum Black moves away. Wilson is there too.
Not gone from 9.
Porter knocked it forward. Glasgow scrum.
They're just not affording that protection at the back. Difficult job for the half-back when players are coming through on him. Makes it even more so. Just able to identify the target early enough to get that ball cleared from the base of the ruck.
Well, huge step up from for Ian Porter from playing last year for Banbridge. There was a good bit of clearing out there by Rob Harley, which caused Nick Williams to hurtle over backward, and that caused Ian Porter to have the ball dislodged from his hands.
end.
25 minutes gone.
Yes, 9.
9-3 to last year's runners-up Ulster.
Those are the sort of scenes we're hoping to see less of this season, with the adjustment being made to the engagement laws with the scrum.
Well, the removal of one of the four-part sequences we hope is going to speed things up. An old grizzled prop forward of yesteryear said they take one more sequence on, it'll be back to the way it was in the good old days when the front rows just got up and you got down and get on with it.
Yes, 9.
Referee saying yes, 9, which means Prendergast has to put it in. Good tackle by Porter on Strice, who gets it away, but only into Ulster's hands. Johan Muller snaffles it up. In fact, it was Dan Tui wearing number 5. Porter. Just about vertical.
All within the 10. 10.
Well, one of those unfortunate things, because the ball went straight up in the air, it still doesn't matter, because when a ball is kicked, the players on the side that's kicked the ball have to retreat 10 metres. They can't just stay there. And this, I'm sure, will give Glasgow a chance to claw back 3 points. So rather unfortunate. Here's what happened.
Yeah, the players just standing up from that scrum and probably not knowing where the ball actually was, particularly given that it was almost landed where the scrum was taken. And Gareth Robinson on just having a quick look at the injury to Porter sustained earlier from that scrum on the 5-metre line.
Niall Malone, the former Irish international, the third in from the left there, the Ulster analyst Johnny Bell, the defence coach, and Mark Anscombe, the head coach, all looking fairly serious at the moment. Last 6 or 7 minutes, all the pressures come from Glasgow, and they'll be hoping that that pressure can be converted into 3 points, courtesy of Stuart Hogg. Wonderful new screens at either end of Ravenhill. Hogg, oh, he's hit that nicely, and he's hit that perfectly. So it's back to a 3-point game again. Ulster still leading, but Glasgow have closed the gap. 9-6 to the home side.
Yeah, and typical of an early season game, there's been good sequences of continuity, interrupted with some small systematic errors and individual errors. Hasn't been a lot of flow to the game. Fairly stop-start, and penalties seeming to dictate that scoreboard.
Jackson, that's hanging nicely. Is there a white arm underneath it? There is, but it's knocked it forward. And you're better just leaving that alone rather than trying to make a grab for it. Prendergast, referee says advantage is over. Underneath it is Williams. Takes it on halfway. 1, 2, 3. Glasgow forwards required to bring him down. Porter. Sean Doyle, who's been pretty quiet this game so far, starting his first competitive game of this season. Roger Wilson, almost 120 games for the Northampton Saints. Jackson, Marshall. Glasgow defence is up very quickly. Ulster's midfield getting no room whatsoever. Wilson's got a bit of a knock. Callum Black. Again, Glasgow quickly in on the tackle. Porter. Dan Tui across the halfway line. Quicker ball. Porter. Now Jackson. Darren Cave. Nicely done. Payne. Sean Doyle lurking out in the wing.
Backwards.
Well, came back a little bit too quickly for Porter. Rory Jackson has kicked very cleverly indeed, and is chasing it himself. And that should be a Glasgow line-out. So Glasgow really being very clever. Ulster making it a little bit easy for them. A few little fumbles there.
Yeah, just no real continuity, unable to develop those multi-passages of play required to break the defence down. Glasgow have made good decisions when they've got turnover ball, kicking very well. Again on this occasion it's Rory Jackson, and Arsenal just seeking the safety of the sideline, calm things down. Glasgow's set piece has been under some pressure, and Ulster will certainly look to exert some on this occasion.
Pat MacArthur. Better line-out ball, knocked forward by Tyrone Holmes. Referee waiting for advantage to Ulster. Back to Jackson. Misses out Marshall. Cave. David McElwain trying to get away from Van der Merwe, and does well. cave in and support. Porter, Jackson, Dan Tui. Good tackle by Tyrone Holmes. Porter into a little bit of space, and he's found it. Needs the bounce to be kind, and probably sensibly Stuart Hogg just let it bounce because it's going to be a Glasgow line-out. But that's the first time in about 15 minutes that Ulster have actually been inside the Glasgow's 22.
Very good work, just backing off when he picked the ball up, opening up the space, and it needed to be positioned very well, and it certainly was. Ulster now with an opportunity to exert some pressure. Very crucial 10-minute passage coming into half-time.
Less than 10 minutes to go to the interval. Ulster in a good position, but it's Glasgow's ball. Taken by Rob Herring, gets it to Sean Doyle. Needs to present it, he has done. Porter, well taken by Jackson. Williams got 2 or 3 men on him every time he gets the ball. Porter, well picked up by Luke Marshall. Good sidestep by the Irish international. Still there for Ulster. Tui thought about offloading to Williams, and he does. Porter again.
6, get away, Black.
Picked up and driven by Williams, as Rob Harley was told to get away from the action. Jackson back inside to Roger Wilson. He went backwards. Here's Jared Payne. All a little bit confined over in that far touchline. Porter, good flat pass to Roger Wilson. Glasgow defending well. Nick Williams, nobody really with him and nobody outside him. All Ulster's forces really confined to the far side.
You've got away, get away quick, it's happening too often.
Penalty to Ulster. Glasgow not getting away quickly enough in the tackle. Might well have been Rob Harley.
That breakdown area, once again the one that's leading to the penalties. Some excellent tackling in the midfield by Harley, and then just lying around a little bit too much. The referees adjudicated. There's been a lot of interference with the halfbacks at different points throughout this game, and just making sure he tries to get some authority in that area to allow this game to flow.
Tim Swinton was in there as well, but the man who gave away the penalty one suspects is the 5 times capped Scots internationalist Rob Harley. Now only 23 years of age. He's captain Glasgow. In fact, he captained them here a year ago. Well, having conceded 3 points, there's nothing better from an Ulster perspective than coming straight back and wiping that 3 points out. 7 minutes to go to half-time. Paddy Jackson looking for his 4th successive kick at the Glasgow goal. Fairly straightforward for Paddy Jackson. 4 out of 4 for Ulster's outside half. 6 points between them. 12-6 to Ulster.
It's really that set piece that's letting Glasgow down. We've seen another line out to go awry for them, and Ulster established field position from that. It's an area they'll certainly need to focus on to try and get some ascendancy and quality of possession.
Hogg has given that a lot of height. Glasgow very nearly got a man up to spoil, and Ulster haven't really made it clean. Declan Fitzpatrick working away to help it back to Porter. A lot of distance in that from Porter. Knocked forward by Glasgow. Knocked forward by Ulster. Oh, Glasgow mustn't have knocked it forward initially. I thought they did. And it's the Glasgow scrum, and the ball back with Glasgow. And really, when you score 3 points, you really need to make sure of the restart kick and pull it in and get it away. And Ulster haven't done that.
No, but they've used that kick to very good effect in terms of the pressure they're putting on the ball receiver from Glasgow. The back three haven't dealt well with ball in the air. Ulster have seen, obviously identified that as a weakness, and they're pursuing that. But a couple of little errors again, and it's Glasgow that find themselves on attack. They need to sort out their primary possession from the set piece. It's not allowing them into this game.
Now, Glasgow very much on the attack, although the back line is not lined out particularly steeply. More of that in a second, I'm sure. Try and go the front rows on the Glasgow loosehead side. Ryan Grant against Declan Fitzpatrick.
It's your responsibility.
So Glasgow very much poised to attack, and the Ulster backline just about flat.
Thanks, Peter.
Well, that could change, of course, if the ball goes against the head, as they used to say in the old days. Now with hookers striking, well, there's more likelihood of that.
Bind.
A crooked feed by the scrum half, incidentally, warrants a free kick, and then the second time's a penalty, and another penalty given against Ryan Grant, who is not a happy lion.
Hips out, in.
So Ulster have the chance to advance down into Glasgow's territory and maybe pick something else up before the interval.
There's certainly enough time to secure that possession from the line out. Look at what their options are midfield, and depending on the time on the clock, maybe look to sneak a drop goal if they're not progressing. Shortened line out, Nick Williams standing in the middle of the pitch, certainly going to attract some defenders.
Well, the referee was saying it was Ryan Grant. I don't think he was bound in the jersey of Declan Fitzpatrick, and even if he was actually just slipping the bind and coming inside. It's a good kick by Paddy Jackson. Good take by Ulster. Porter away to Jackson. Williams in the middle of the park. Stopped by Strauss. Look, Marshall's in the middle of that. Ball a little bit scrappy coming back. Good pass by Porter. Here comes Payne. Releases Michael Allen. Good work by Allen setting all that up. Luke Marshall. Little kick for Dan Toohey, and he's gathered it amazingly. There goes Toohey. David McElwain looking for his first competitive Ulster try. Ulster 5 metres away. Something before half-time will be just a ticket for the home side. Luke Marshall. Dreadful pass. Jared Payne gets in quickly, but Glasgow have got the ball. Taken on by Grant.
Push, Mike.
Well away by Glasgow and by their skipper Henry Pyrgos, and that, Ryan, apart from the incident with Van der Merwe, was the nearest we've had to a try, and it was very nearly an Ulster try. Good support work by Toohey and McElwain.
Yeah, fortuitous bounce of the ball, and Toohey doing very well to hold on to it, and then the opportunity in the wider channel, but just that pass letting them down under pressure, it must be said. But excellent decision making from the outside backs in Glasgow.
Still there for Ulster. Here's Jackson. Michael Allen comes in off the wing. Michael Allen's the weights he's shifting, I think, in pre-season training were quite phenomenal.
Who's talking?
So he is a strong young man. Always was, though. Nudged forward by Ulster, and they've given away possession.
Sorry, I couldn't understand the New Zealand accent. Yeah? Yeah. No.
Well, the referee has made some reference to a New Zealand accent. I'm not sure whether he's referring to Jared Payne or not, or Nick Williams.
Yeah, Ulster on a couple of occasions, the ball security coming into question from the set piece on a first phase move, which looks like a set-up move, unable to maintain possession for the next phases to follow on, and that's been symptomatic of this first half. Very stop-start, huge amount of scrums, not all of them successful, and 12-6 probably a fairly accurate reflection of the game thus far.
Declan Fitzpatrick starting very low. That's a better scrum by Glasgow. Strauss picks up. Oh, great tackle by Roger Wilson. Dragged him down, so Strauss has had to release Pyrgos. Glasgow still inside their own half, albeit by about half a metre. Pyrgos again. A lot of white jerseys up on a straight line. Ulster get away. Rory Jackson. Hogg. No chance to show that blistering pace of his. This is Mark Bennett, of whom we've seen very little.
No clear release.
Well, no release by Ulster in the tackle. Silly penalty to give away.
That clock's right.
Maybe
there.
only time for a kick at goal.
Post.
Yeah, they'll have to take a long-range option. It's very difficult angle, but conditions good. You'd think that Hogg will probably have the length. Will he have the accuracy? We'll have to wait and see.
Darren Cade made the initial tackle. Now, was he off his feet or was he interfering? Not altogether. Well, he probably just wasn't releasing the man who had the ball. He certainly was was supporting his weight on his feet, but he had to release. And again, this just came from Ulster losing possession and have given Glasgow this chance to close the gap to 3 points by half-time. Probably just about a fair reflection. Both sides with a single chance to score a try, neither able to take it. Bit of booing going on, I'm not exactly sure why. So Stuart Hogg is 2 from 2 so far. Paddy Jackson 4 from 4. Here comes Hogg. Hit that nicely. And he's missed that one. And the referee decides that it's a very handy end to be at. Stuart Hogg has missed with his first kick at goal, but he's landed 2. But Paddy Jackson has landed all 4. And Ulster leading by 12 points to 6. And on balance, maybe just about.
Yeah, Glasgow problems at the set piece and handling those high balls. Ulster just unable to go through enough possession. Ball security is an issue for them. 2 things for each of those teams to focus on.
Well, a lot more rugby to come, and we hope some more exciting rugby to come. It certainly has been exciting in terms of the game being close. Only 6 points between them, Ulster 12 and Glasgow 6 at half-time.
Well, the first competitive game at the new look Ravenhill. There was a real buzz at headquarters, but the first 40 minutes was error strewn. Glasgow came closest to scoring a try, but it's been the battle of the boot, and Paddy Jackson has put the home side in front. 4 penalties for him, 2 for Stuart Hogg, and it's tight at half-time. It's Ulster 12 and Glasgow 6. Andy Ward and Scott Hastings have been watching what has been a frustrating first half, Andy.
Oh, very much so. I mean, we started out, the game started with a bit of a hiss and roll for the first 10 to 15 minutes, and we thought it was going to really open up to be a very entertaining game end to end. It's the perfect night for a game of rugby. It's dry, it's not a breath of air, it's just perfect. The pitch is in fantastic nick, and unfortunately, it's just sort of faded away.
What is it, Scott? Early season jitters, bit of rustiness?
Well, I thought we saw the rustiness last week in the opening performance of the Rabo Direct League, but no, it's been frustrating. There was real sizzle factor to start with, but I think Ulster slowly got to grips with this Glasgow team. Glasgow were forcing a lot of these passes, but certainly a lot of pressure being put on certainly the scrum and the line-out play at Glasgow. So Ulster will be delighted going in 12-6 at half-time.
Let's look at some of that analysis from the first half. And to be fair, Glasgow out of the blocks very early and certainly had the best chances to score.
Yeah, we felt that Glasgow had a real opportunity. This is in the first sort of 10 minutes of the game, and there's real continuity here from Glasgow. I felt the skip pass out wide to DTH Van der Merwe. Look at the right of your screen. He's throwing his arms up because that opportunity was there. But while the ball was put down by Tyrone Holmes, the wide pass was certainly the chance that Glasgow had. Missed kick by Paddy Jackson, who's had a reasonable game for Ulster, but look how Glasgow were able to create some space out of this counter-attacking opportunity. Yeah,
they've really kicked in nicely, and they're reading the game. They're just there. Very unfortunate. The bounce of the ball has just beat us here. Looked very, very dangerous, sort of a collision with the post there, but unfortunately
the post was padded.
He came up. The post is okay. So
Ian
right.
Porter though did really well. He's been good around the base now. He's got Nick Williams involved in the game, and the more carries that Ulster back row can have will put a dramatic effect on that Glasgow defence.
Actually, that was one loose kick from Paddy Jackson, but apart from that, he's looked pretty composed tonight.
He has looked fairly composed tonight, and it's good to see. We talked about at the top of the show. He's a very much a confidence player, and we really need him to be taking the ball even flatter than he is. He's starting to slip back as the game's not really happening. He started to drop back a tiny fraction for me anyway, certainly. But Ulster forwards are giving him a better, but he's getting good ball, and Porter's doing a nice job there, and I think he's directing traffic quite nicely. So hopefully Paddy can just grow in confidence.
Who has the ascendancy in the scrummage area at the moment, Scott?
Oh, without doubt, Ulster have got it, but we were just talking about the binding from Ryan Grant with Declan Fitzpatrick, and Fitzpatrick seems to have Grant in all sorts of sort of problems and putting a real squeeze on there, the tight leg from Ulster. There seems to be just a solidity within that Ulster pack.
Yeah, they certainly started off as just nice and tight. The timing seems to be quite good, and under a little bit of pressure here, young Porter's done exceptionally well. He's under immense pressure. It's a dodgy pass to give out, but the scrum Ulster just seem to be nice and tight, and Glasgow is just all 6s and 7s, not a very nice scrum. They've done well, but look, it's just messy all round, and unfortunately for Glasgow, that's been the tale of their set piece tonight. It just hasn't gone particularly well, and that's a classic example. We're talking about Mr. Grant there. He just got the hit, and the new rule is just, if you don't get it right, you're going to be under a lot of pressure, because there's an incoming force from both teams.
And it's really that platform that has allowed Ulster to get on the front foot tonight and get their noses in front, Scott.
Very much so. Any coach will tell you in the game, Stephen, that 50-50 pass, well, sometimes it works. Hold on to the ball, set the next phase of play. These players are good enough to execute, but when they're forcing that 50-50 pass, the mistakes given is played a little bit, from a Glasgow perspective, into Ulster's hands.
Jared Payne, who of course becomes Irish qualified at the end of this season, has looked very, very comfortable again this evening and helping move that Ulster backline nicely.
Listen, Jared Payne's a class act. He just glides through there, he makes the right decisions, he assesses every situation. He's just a cool customer, and he's always on hand. You watch Jared Payne throughout the season, he'll be the guy who pops up at the right time and makes the right decision when it's needed most. That was a fantastic kick. We probably thought maybe it should have gone wide, but the outcome was fantastic. Unfortunately, it's just so good it got away from all the support.
What I like about Payne is he does hit the good angles, he offloads well. He doesn't have out-and-out pace. As Andy said, he sort of goes around. What I would like to see, when he goes on that angle and cut, he needs somebody to run off his shoulder, because if they can uncork the outside backs outside him, he does create space.
And that's something that I'm surprised at with the rest of the Ulster team, that they know the way he plays, and that's exactly the way he plays. If you watch him when he makes a break, he's always looking for someone to offload, and they're just not running off his shoulder. They've got to understand with the personnel they're playing with. If Jared Payne gets the ball, there's going to be an opportunity. If I run my line, more often than not, I'll probably receive that pass.
Okay, thank you, gentlemen, for the moment. The redevelopment, as we've seen tonight, of Ravenhill is well and truly underway. The man who knows all about it is the Ulster Rugby Chief Executive, Shane Logan, and he's talking to Gavin.
Well, Shane, I walked into Ravenhill tonight and felt like I was in a different ground. Talk us through some of the changes.
Well, since last year we've finished 3 out of 4 sides. We've taken the capacity up from around 10 to about 13,500, en route to taking it to 18,000 at the end of this season.
It really is state of the art, isn't it?
It is. We've gone around Europe looking at what's best. We believe we brought what's best back here, and our aim is to be best both off the pitch and on it.
I got a sneak peek at the gym this week. It is particularly spectacular.
No, it's magnificent. There'll be a lot of pain, and we've invested a large amount of money into the gym to try and get the best facilities, best in Europe for our players.
If Ulster made it through to a Heineken Cup quarter-final and were the home draw, would Ravenhill be ready?
Almost certainly. We would need 15,000 of a capacity for that. We should be at that in April when the fixture is held, but a long way to go both on the pitch and off before then.
At the start of our programme tonight, we saw a minute's applause for Nevin Spence. Tell us about the new centre at Ravenhill in his name.
Yeah. Nevin was an exceptional individual, high integrity, determined to be the absolute best he could be, but do it in the right way, and a way it was honest. So we are creating a centre here, a museum, an education centre, and indeed the whole stadium, where we aim to bring every school child in the 9 counties of Ulster during their education to understand what's best about rugby, to understand good diet, good discipline, good behaviours both on and off the pitch, and to try to be inspired by what Nevin was all about and what we believe rugby is all about.
And to broaden the game to maybe people who wouldn't have had opportunities before as well.
Yeah, there's no question of that. We've got to broaden the game. We want to bring the goodness of the game to people who maybe never played any kind of sport before, to people who are maybe on the fringes of education, and we'll start from the outside and work in.
And positive signs tonight, Shane. Thanks for your time.
Thanks very much, Cameron. Thank you.
A poignant weekend for Ulster Rugby, obviously remembering Nevin Spence, Andy.
Very much so, and it's very hard to believe that we're 12 months on, and it's still very sort of raw, especially, I live in the county down not too far from the family home and so forth, so it's still very much in the hearts and prayers with all the family that are still there, obviously, and so it's a very difficult weekend, so our hearts go out to them.
One of the parts of this stadium which will be renamed after Nevin Spence is the Education Centre. Scott, are you impressed with the whole revamp here? And it certainly hasn't lost any of its old atmosphere at the moment, even though we're one grandstand.
Well, I've been coming across here for years in an old Saltars jersey and the games against Ulster, and some great friends over here. And I've seen the development of the stadium, and I said to Andy earlier on, but 3 years ago, also had a great win over Stade Francais in the Heineken Cup, and it was as though the old magic was back. And since then, this place is absolutely tingled, and it's a pleasure to see the development. And I hope other professional teams across Europe see the ability of Ulster to reach out to the community, to the fans, because they do create a great Friday night.
Andy, are you confident these fans all enjoying this lovely new stadium tonight can enjoy an Ulster victory at the end of the evening?
I think so. I think Ulster is sort of starting to iron out a few creases. They just need to keep the ball and get a little bit more go forward. Keep a hold of it. That's all they need to do, and just go through the phases and keep it coming. And I think Glasgow, just for some reason tonight, it just doesn't seem to be quite happening. I hope that continues for the next 40 minutes, but I think they'll do all right.
The Scottish defence tonight, though, has been excellent so far, it has to be said, Scott.
It has been, but they've got to eliminate these simple penalties that allows Paddy Jackson to knock 4 of them over. I think they've also got some individual brilliance in DTH van der Merwe. We've hardly seen Stuart Hogg's attacking threat and pace. If they can uncork that lad, then something can happen for Glasgow. But we just discussed there, the first team to score the try will open up a little bit of opportunity there for the game, and hopefully in the second half we will get tries.
It does feel that it's almost about to come, doesn't it? And it will be a real game changer when that happens, Andy.
Yeah, very much so. And I think Scott's hit the nail on the head. It's if we get in here, someone to get us try, that could open up the game.
Who's the game changer for Ulster? Nick Williams?
I think so. I think Roger Wilson's had a very good start as well. He's gone a little quiet in the last 5 minutes of the first half, but he certainly came to the fore in the first part of that game. So he needs, hopefully he's taking a breather, get his game back on, and he's just a bustling player, and he needs to have a good season. He spent a lot of time watching last year. There's a lot of competition in the back row in Ulster Pack at the minute, so he needs to stand up, and these games are to be counted for Roger. So I expect him to go forward. If he's got a bit of go forward, I think Nick Williams can get on the back of it. So between the two, great job.
What do Glasgow need to do to try and get back into this game and get a stranglehold on it?
I think more importantly it's retaining the ball. Nick Williams, for example, the head-to-head between the eights and Josh Strauss has been fascinating. Nick Williams edging that. It's up to every player in the Glasgow camp to now edge ahead of their opposite number and start to get that continuity that Glasgow seek under their coaching direction of Gregor Townsend. He likes an open game, but it's first and foremost his ball carriers have to get involved in the game to create that space for the outside backs to dominate.
OK, Scott, Andy, thank you very much indeed. One big Paddy Jackson fan who'll be enjoying this match tonight is Ryan O'Hagan, a young rugby player from the City of Derry club. We wish you well with your recovery from a rugby injury. We know you're watching in hospital tonight, so a big shout out to you. Let's hope Paddy Jackson and the Ulster team can deliver a winning performance for everyone this evening. It's time to rejoin our commentary team, Brian Constable and Jim Neely.
Well, Glasgow, looking very purposeful, have come out early onto this perfectly manicured Ravenhill playing surface. No changes on either side. Gerald Payne just touching fingertips of one or two young Ulster fans. Paddy Jackson doing likewise. Out comes Nick Williams as ever, socks down round the ankles. So there's nothing between them. One try could settle this game either way. Ulster leading by 12 points to 6, and Brian, I'm sure you'd agree that what the chaps at half-time were saying.
Yeah, both teams' areas to focus on. The first thing, obviously, for Glasgow is to try and sort out the issues they're having at set piece. You cannot get into a game if you don't have primary possession. Ulster, on the other hand, are not having issues there. They're having issues with ball security, holding onto the ball long enough to create some meaningful attack. Ulster's blitz defence is creating opportunities for Glasgow behind with clever little kicks, and Rory Jackson is the perfect man with that variety he brings to a game to exploit that.
It's the Ulster Jackson. Paddy gets the second half started, and Ulster up very quickly and very aggressively, and Glasgow rocked back on their heels. Ulster looking to affect what could be an important turnover. Don't think they've managed it. Glasgow's skipper, Henry Purgos, deputising in that role for Al Kellogg. Here's Sean Lamont trying to get outside Luke Marshall. Takes both himself and Darren Cave to bring down the enormous fellow who had long spells with the Northampton Saints and the Scarlets.
Taken back in by Black.
Purgos, that was taken back into the 22. Good take by Payne. Good angle by Payne. Well set back, Porter. Away to Jackson. Declan Fitzpatrick at inside centre. Does well. Herring. Not the greatest of pass. Michael Allen comes back. with a hint of a knock forward, but the referee happy that it didn't go forward. Ulster conceded about 15 metres. Callum Black, who was at every single match day squad last season. Cave tries to squeeze inside. Tim Swinson. Porter, no one to chase it, and that's gone straight into touch. That's the first real mistake he's made from the base of the Ulster scrum.
Yeah, Ulster building nicely, going through a number of phases. The referee just calls it back, the line out being formed, but just probing for that space in behind, and it's a little bit too much on the kick out on the full. Glasgow line out, first opportunity for them now to get this aspect of their game sorted.
All kicks in the first half, 4 penalties from Paddy Jackson, 2 from Stuart Hogg, who missed one. Glasgow have shortened and really compressed the line-out. 4 men in there. They're taken well at the front by Swinson. That looked a wee bit forward. Certainly the Ulster crowd thought that. Pyrgos, this is better from Glasgow. Here's Strauss, nicely done. Tommy Seymour came in, back to Strauss though. Luke Marshall with the tackle. Referee telling Luke Marshall get out of the way. Glasgow now into the Ulster half. Pyrgos, a wee bit more zip now from the visitors. Rory Jackson. What a take by Michael Allen. Jackson, cleverly done. Well taken by Tui. Lovely stuff by Rod Herring. Covered by Mark Bennett. Ulster on the front foot. Jackson moves it wide, well taken by Payne. Luke Marshall got it out wide to Johan Muller. Glasgow have got men across though. Porter. Jackson had to stretch. Well, slowed down a bit. Porter again. Payne, sweet little offload. This is Sean Doyle. Now Porter. Roger Wilson, who's had a terrific evening playing at number 6. Nick Williams. Porter. Good stuff by Ulster. Dan Tui tries to set it up. Porter. Paddy Jackson has a little dart himself. Good covering by the enormous Strauss. Porter's in there. Rob Herring sensibly didn't try to set Roger Wilson up. Glasgow have come barreling through, and Mark Bennett might have stolen that one. Back on the Ulster side, Jackson has to grapple. Porter asking for a runner. Ball still there for the home side. Here's Wilson. They're still churning and driving and trying to keep possession. That's good work by Herring, who's had a great evening. Here's Declan Fitzpatrick. Ryan Grant gets in the way. Roger Wilson at scrum half. Luke Marshall not going to get through from there, but he's left it behind. Wilson. Ryan Grant is off his feet according to the referee, but he's letting play go on. Here's Williams. Well marshalled Glasgow defence. Ulster still 15 minutes to go. 15 metres I should say. We've had 5 minutes gone. Porter. Tui. Payne. Nicely done. Not so nicely done in the end as it turned out. Glasgow line-up. Great Glasgow defence. You've got to give them full marks for that.
Outstanding Glasgow defence. Their commitment to the tackle, but more importantly their enthusiasm to get back into position to take their place in that defensive line. Ulster created plenty of overlaps, but they managed to defend each time. Excellent tackle on Dan Tui on that occasion. They're just working hard for each other. Strauss central to their efforts defensively, and ultimately the mistake comes for Ulster after a good passage of composed play from them.
I thought I heard the voice of Peter Ferguson, the TMO. I'm not sure whether or not the referee, Ian Davis, has asked him to adjudicate on something, but the ball was thrown into touch by Ulster, and it should be a Glasgow line-out.
What's that?
Bit of a stoppage there, just to the right of Josh Strauss, as the long-serving Glasgow and indeed Scottish Dr. Jerry Hegarty, who's been around nearly as long as myself. Wonderful servant to Scottish rugby.
Coming in Black. Time back on, Peter.
What referee is saying it's No infringement there. Time back on. Glasgow line out now. Ulster need to try to put some pressure in this one. Ooh, they have done. It's gone forward, I think, by Ulster. Just knocked forward by Rob Herring. It was a great chance for Ulster if they'd been able to snaffle that one on the ground. Pyrgos, as he found his touch. No, he hasn't. Well kept in by McElwain. Jared Payne on halfway. Good layback. Came off the chest. Roger Wilson. A little bit scrappy. Ulster just need to make possession a little bit more secure. Porter. Tui. Muller in support. Porter, wee chance now if they can shift this. Williams got it away. Well done by McElwain. Good sidestep.
It's fine. He's got back on side.
The ball was released pretty quickly and Van der Merwe stole it. And that's a good kick by Henry Pyrgos, just pushing Ulster back deep into their 22. And all that pressure soaked up by Glasgow, and they're now back within a striking distance of the Ulster line.
Yeah, you've got 15 individuals on the park that are really playing for each other. Very committed in attack. They're going that extra mile, working very hard defensively. They've spent a lot of time in their own 22 and now find themselves on the Ulster 22. They'll be very satisfied with that defensive performance.
Come up, White.
The glimpse there of the Glasgow coaching team, led by Gregor Townsend, Rob Herring, Muller.
It's now Maul taking back inside.
Ball, according to the referee, was taken back inside the Ulster 22. Porter. Gathered in by Glasgow. Pyrgos had a little glance at the far side, changed his mind. This is Strauss. Taken by Williams, who releases immediately. Sensible move. Referee saying Ulster have hands in there. No, they don't. Sean Lamont.
It's you,
Pyrgos has to winkle it out. Ulsterman lying on it. This is Tyrone Holmes.
13 White away!
Trying to cave the man lying on the ground, but he's got away from it. Strauss well tackled by Williams yet again. Serious gladiatorial contest between these huge number 8s. Pat MacArthur tackled by Declan Fitzpatrick and by Tui.
Advantage White, knock on Black.
Knocked on by Glasgow, and also will get the put into the scrum. And it's all about ball security, and neither side has done that terribly well this evening.
No, they haven't. Not a lot of creativity in that last passage of play. It was heavy-duty stuff up the middle. Ball being dislodged in the tackle there. Ulster opportunity to relieve some pressure, but it really has been some one-out stuff in those last passages, just trying to demolish the opposition defensive line, but nothing to really get excited about.
All right, I cannot see a handle. I can see his body lying on it. If there's a hand in it, it's very difficult for me to see from that position. All right, but it's happening both sides now, lying around. I'm going to have a word with them as well. Henry, listen, you have a word with your side to try and clean this breakdown up, run the tackle, and I'm going to have a word with them for exactly the same thing.
When Pyrgos complaining that Ulster were putting hands in there, and the referee was saying that if bodies were in the way, he couldn't see the hands. Johan Muller, in his 4th season here with Ulster, 24 times cap for South Africa, and as we mentioned earlier, captaining Ulster for the 52nd time.
Mark here. White ball, isn't it?
8 minutes gone in the second half. Scoreboard not been troubled.
Back on the bind, okay?
Ulster in possession, but Glasgow with the territorial advantage.
Crouch. Bind. Set. Yes, 9.
Good solid scrum by Callum Black. Lovely flat back. Payne wasn't given much of a chance. Penalty against Glasgow. You could hear the referee saying release Black, and it was Tommy Seymour, formerly of Ulster, now of Glasgow and Scotland, not releasing. At 25 years of age.
The same for you, mind, okay?
Paddy Jackson. Good solid strike by Paddy Jackson. He's made another decent piece of territory.
Ulster now will go to the playbook, look for something as we see Jarrod Payne just using that sidestep, and then after the referees just made mention about clearing out at the breakdown, making it an even contest, not infringing. Penalty for Ulster. Opportunity now to create something from this set piece.
Ooh, Glasgow have pinched that one. Ulster very nearly got it back. It was Swinson who gets it. Well, this is dangerous stuff here now. This is Tommy Seymour. Good tackle by Ian Porter. Rory Jackson stepped inside Doyle. Pyrgos. Holgate outside half. Strauss. Tackle by Luke Marshall. Didn't release.
Leave it at the purview. You must come away 12.
I think it's too far from the Ulster post for the kick at goal, and I have a feeling that Glasgow will go to the far side of the park for the line-out. Or will they?
Yeah, discussions taking place now, and looks like they've gone for the more attacking option. Kick into the corner. They're going to have to trust their line-out to secure. We've seen problems for both sides at the start of this second half from the line-out.
Well, that was Ulster's first line-out loss of the evening. They won't want to do too many more of them. No genuine sign of any replacements coming on, and both replacement panels looking very strong indeed. Glasgow have 5 internationals, 4 Scottish and the Argentinian Gabriel Ascarti waiting.
Inside the 15.
Ulster have 4 internationals on the bench, including British and Irish lion Tom Court. Here's Pat MacArthur for Glasgow. Clean take. It's Rob Harley who'd moved up to the front of the line-out. Glasgow driving forward, Ulster digging in. This is good protection of the football by Glasgow. Here's Pyrgos. Taken on by Sean Lamont. Williams trying to get out of the way. Slow ball for Glasgow. No real width at all, so what are they going to do? Are they going to go down the middle? I think they are, you know. This is Swinson. In goes Hogg to help. Tyrone Holmes. And that's well won by Ulster. The breakdown. Is there a chance they can shift this? Huge pass. Here comes Jackson. Gets it to Luke Marshall. He's got McElwain outside him. McElwain puts the foot on the gas. He's had a pretty good evening given limited opportunities. McElwain quickly in by Porter. Payne. Now Johan Muller. Good presentation by Ulster's captain. Payne again. Darren Cave sweetly away. Here's Herring with Michael Allen. Gives it to Allen, and he's dropped it. Referee playing advantage. Back to Stuart Hogg.
Still play advantage. Play out 2
Well,
counts.
that was a genuine chance for Ulster. Here comes Strauss. Great tackle by the abrasive Allen.
Advantage is now over.
Glasgow's advantage from that Ulster knock forward is over. Thumping hit by Nick Williams on young Johnny Gray. And Glasgow clear, and Ulster will get the line out. Well, that was a genuine chance. Michael Allen, I think, will be just saying to himself, oh dear. Cave with the pass, then Herring ran strongly. Nothing wrong with the pass, Brian.
No, some excellent lead-up work by Cave straightening, and then very good decision made by Herring there. And just an individual error. Frustrated, you can see by the look on his face with that. Important that Ulster maintain this field position, keep the pressure up. They have a 6-point margin, need to get that beyond 8.
Porter, good pass. Jackson. Now it's Allen. That's the 10-metre line of Glasgow. Johan Muller. Callum Black. Scrummaged well and carried well. Likewise, Roger Wilson.
7 Black, make an effort to get the ball's there. The ball is there.
Holmes again being spoken to by the referee. Gets away with it this time. Callum Black sets it back. Payne at outside half. For Luke Marshall to chase. Needs the bounce to be kind, and it's not. Kick straight into touch off the outside of Stuart Hogg's boot. Looks a wee bit rusty. You don't really expect that. He had such a very, very good Lions tour, hadn't he?
Yeah, very good positional play there. He's a man with open space you'd love to see with ball in hand, but his opportunities have been limited. They've peppered the 2 wings, looking to contest those kicks, very aware that they can't give Hogg space and time to counter-attack, and that's limited his opportunities.
That's 13. 1 and 3. 13.
1 or 2 changes being made now.
13.
Glasgow making 2 changes in the back row.
13.
Holmes and Streiser going off, and Lamont is going off as well.
13. 13.
Lamont doesn't want to go off. He doesn't realise he's being replaced.
I know, 13. There's no one to come on. Is the substitution ready for 13?
Gabriel Ascarty should be coming on. Glasgow have made 2 changes in the forward pack. More of those in a moment.
Wait, 2. Okay, time on, Peter, please.
Richie Vernon has come on as well. In the meantime, Johan Muller, Ulster's captain, wins the ball.
He's straight through the middle, he's legal.
Glasgow really digging in now.
Through the middle, it's fine.
Swinson making a use of himself in the middle of that driving ball, but Ulster retained possession. Bit slow coming back. Callum Black rides the tackle well. Porter. Luke Marshall.
Tackle and move.
Porter again. Jackson. Good driving run by Darren Cave. Porter caught, but he got it away. Set up by Sean Doyle. Nick Williams is in there for Ulster. Dan Toohey. And all the pressure coming from Ulster, but no more points. Declan Fitzpatrick. That little nudge forward. Williams picks up and thrusts himself at the Glasgow defence. Kalman's in the way. Porter gets it back nicely. Jackson. Payne. Little miss move. Ulster deep now into the 22. Hall and Fasaro have come on for Glasgow.
Move 6.
Johan Muller has put himself about a fair bit tonight.
Get away 6.
Not much there. Oh, clever little kick by Jackson. And into touch, it's going to be a Glasgow line out, but it's right on their own line where they're taking it quickly. And this could be interesting. There's no one at home for Ulster. And Paddy Jackson has to get himself all the way back. A lot of Glasgow chasing players. Well kicked by Jackson. What a good kick. Taken by Hogg, but he hasn't got much of an angle. And that's not much of a kick. So well struck by Paddy Jackson.
You wonder when this defensive workload is going to tell on Glasgow. They've been forced to defend for large passages of this second half, and Ulster are setting up camp again in the Glasgow half. Points will have to come soon from all this pressure.
Well, it was a very good kick by Paddy Jackson, and Stuart Hogg had plenty of time and just couldn't quite make the contact.
4, substitution. Substitution.
Ulster going to make a replacement at scrum half, I've a feeling. I think Ian Porter, who's been nursing a bit of an injury since toward the end of the first half, is going off. And Paul Marshall is coming on for Ulster. Marshall coming on for his 104th cap, and Ulster's skipper Johan Muller is going off, and Irish international Ian Henderson coming on for his very first game of the season.
Yeah, he's coming on.
Ed Kalman leaving as well, and Murray Lowe coming on. So, well, that's that part of the game that I think commentators and spectators hate, because they really don't know what's going on to say. Herring. Well, taken by Dan Toohey.
20 to go round. Say more.
Ulster trying to protect the ball and trying to protect Nick Williams, who's churning forward. Henderson is in there as well, adding his 18 stones to the whole matter. Marshall saying, I need a runner. Gets it in the shape of Rob Herring. Marshall. Good work by his namesake, no relation, Luke Marshall. Paul Marshall again looking for Toohey, who's lost the headgear. Laid back nicely, Paul Marshall. Jared Payne. Ball came off, I think, a Glasgow player, and that might just be an Ulster line-out. And that indeed is the case.
And once again, it's that Glasgow defence, solid once again, almost impenetrable this evening. Ulster trying everything, changing the area of attack and then just ripping the ball out, but unable to deliver it back into hands to clear. And Ulster again finding themselves on the verge of the Glasgow 22.
Time off. On the rest of them.
McWilliams getting a little bit of attention. Won a couple of Player of the Year awards at the end of last season, thoroughly deservedly. This is Rob Herring. Good line out, Roger Wilson. Paul Marshall. Paddy Jackson has a go, he's through. Gets it to Luke Marshall. Oh dear, another try. Really should have been scored there by Ulster. Glasgow still trying to keep it alive. Ulster trying to keep the pressure on. Well, full marks to Glasgow. Back to Rory Jackson. Well, that very nearly was an Ulster try.
Excellent work came from that line out initially. Marshall flat pass, and then it was Jackson with runners all over. Excellent side step, breaks the line, and unfortunately Luke Marshall just unable to hold on to that. But look how flat that ball was taken at pace. Support players either side, and just bobbling ball, unable to be held on, and Glasgow off the hook again.
And having shipped a fair bit of criticism, which he took on board, Paddy Jackson, I think, has had a good game this evening. Not just kicking his goals, but he's shown that in broken play he does have that little bit of pace to bother backlines. Tom Court has come on for Ulster. Hugely experienced. Tom Court is 129th Ulster appearance.
We need good discipline on the attack there, okay? Time on it, Peter.
Ricky Lutton has come on as well for Ulster, who's taken that one. Marshall to Marshall. Paul Marshall. Williams, never mind the nose. Well, they missed him last week in Newport. Jared Payne, always looking to get the upper body through the tackle to make the ball available. Ricky Lutton's going to have to go in and clear that out. Paul Marshall. Chris Henry. Paul Marshall. Payne. McElwain. Can he get it down? It's close. I think he might just have been held up. I have a feeling that Glasgow bodies were underneath David McElwain, who still has to score his first competitive try. We'll have to go upstairs to the TMO. That was very close. Lovely pass by Paul Marshall. The cutest little offload by Jared Payne. Now, did McElwain make contact with the ground? Not from that angle.
Excellent from Marshall. Fresh player on the pitch. Gets on the outside of his man. Creates the overlap. And as we see McElwain going over the line, Jared Payne holding up the pass nicely and running some clever interference, and then just unable to twist that body with the attention of three Glasgow players to ground that.
Try was not scored. A defensive scrum for Glasgow. So Ulster with two fresh props on, Tom Court and Ricky Lutton. Can they get the squeeze on here? It's Ulster's put in. Tom Court finding himself up against an old foe, Murray Lowe.
We've had perfect binding until now.
Who's equally experienced, 21 times for Scotland. The referee's saying the binding has been pretty good up until now.
Shoulder out, good. Let's go, Ricky!
Into the final quarter of this game, and Ulster still leading.
Crouch!
Some of the tries perhaps went to begging.
Bind! Set! Yes, 9.
With Ulster scrum. There's the squeeze. Williams controlling. Pyrgos surely offside. And Ulster penalised.
20 up in the prop.
Chris Henry was interfering at the scrum, coming in and doing a bit of scrummaging himself, which he's not allowed to do. As a flanker, you can drive forward, but you're not allowed to angle in. Must say it's a long time since I saw a penalty given for that offence. Rory Jackson gets it away, but all the pressure is still coming from Ulster.
Stay bound, you can't come in. You can't come in.
Well, that was more like a piece of set-piece scrummaging from Chris Henry than a bit of support play. Got a punch swung at him though, which is illegal as well.
Who's captain? Henry, who's captain?
Henry Pergos leaving the field to be replaced by the vastly experienced Chris Cussiter, who's coming on. Former captain of Scotland, British and Irish Lion himself. Taken by Harley at the back. Well covered by Allen. Jared Payne. Cave. From McElwain to chase. Vander Murphy gets it and gets it away nicely. Still there for Glasgow. Bit of chase into space, and that's been knocked forward.
Off his leg!
Oh, off his leg, said the referee. So just fortunate for Ulster, it bounced into the arms of Ian Henderson. Paul Marshall, clever choice of pass. Michael Allen. Great strength by the youngster, equally at home in the centre or on the wing. Here's Marshall. Good take by Henderson. Lovely pass by Henderson.
Advantage black, knock on white.
Roger Wilson's little return pass was spilled by Henderson. Referee is waiting for Glasgow advantage.
Knock on.
And none has come, and it's going to be Glasgow's scrum. Ulster will want to win this game, I think, Ryan, needless to say, and they'd like to do something a little bit more than have a 12-6 scoreline, but if it were to be 12-6, they would settle for that, wouldn't they?
Yeah, they'll take the points. It's what's important in this game, particularly after a loss in the first game. Lots to work on for both sides. Still 18 minutes left on the clock to try and get some continuity. And notice increase in tempo from Ulster in the last 5 minutes, and they'll be looking for those fresh legs to carry that momentum forward. Glasgow defended manfully in this second half, and eventually that's going to tire them out, and Ulster will start to find gaps.
Just over 17 minutes remaining, 6 points between them.
Bind, set.
All points from penalties scored in the first half. Good solid looking Glasgow scrummage. Vernon at number 8. Oh, good work by Marshall. Henry. Paddy Jackson has done well to make it available. Here's Williams. Tackled by Vernon. Roger Wilson has had an outstanding game on the blind side of the flank. Paul Marshall. Williams. Chris Henry gets across the 22. Paddy Jackson. Payne. Well, just ghost past a couple of defenders. Lazy running by Swinson. Nick Williams goes to ground. Paul Marshall. Ricky Lutton.
4 black away.
Marshall. Jackson. Good run by Darren Cave. Paul Marshall. Idea was right. Payne still in Ulster possession. Payne shows great strength going into contact. Marshall. Dan Toohey. Jackson. Nobody really chasing that one. Well, that hasn't got into touch. Wasn't dotted down for a 22, so Tommy Seymour entitled to play it. Glasgow have set themselves up in a better position. Custer to Hogg. Oh, well tackled by Luke Marshall. Well, Hogg looks very, very much off the pace this evening in just about everything he's been doing. But Glasgow have set it up. Custer gets it away. Also looking to force a 5-metre scrum if they can. Referee telling Ulster to stay on side. Custer as a wee glance. And that's going to be an Ulster line-out. Well, all the pressure now coming from Ulster. It really has been a very good last 15 minutes or so, Ryan.
Well, you feel that Custer should have maybe taken the responsibility to clear that. We see the kick through and looked like it bounced off the corner post almost. Looking at the referee and the referee giving instruction, but That one should never have gone back under huge amount of pressure, and Hogg not assessing his options very quickly, and as a result being tackled. A perfect opportunity now for Ulster. At some point they're going to have to break down this Glasgow defence. They've done it twice. Ball handling errors have prevented them scoring the try. Luke Marshall back on his feet. You hope that's not a reoccurrence of some of the head knocks he took at the end of last season.
Brian Grant has gone off for Glasgow. Number 17 Gordon Reid is on. Well taken in by Ulster at the line out. Dan Toohey secured it. All of Ravenhill getting behind the men in white. Johnny Gray just thrust out of things. Ulster still driving. If they can maintain this momentum, they could squeeze over for the try. Referees come round to the open side to see what's going on at the breakdown. Ulster still moving forward, but it's gone to ground. Pick up and drive by the men in white. Just a metre away. Here goes Henderson. Spirals. Can't quite get there. Williams. Still Williams. Glasgow man in the way. Taken on by Tom Court. My word, that's close. Ulster within sniffing distance of that Glasgow line. Again, Glasgow being told to get their hands out of it. In goes Marshall. Ulster get the penalty. Well, probably no more than they deserved after all that pressure, and Glasgow reduced to infringing. And decision time now for Ulster, and one presumes that Chris Henry will have taken over the captaincy.
Yeah, you'd think this is a 3-point option. They're at 6, 3 more takes it out to 9. It would be the sensible decision to make at this point. They've been in this Glasgow territory for a long time with nothing to show for it, and sanity does prevail, and they look to get themselves out that 8-point margin into 9-point territory. They've thrown everything they could at Glasgow. Twice they've broken them down but been unable to finish them off, but it's been an impressive Glasgow defensive performance.
Well, Dougie Hall, the replacement Glasgow hooker, was the man first of all to be lying all over the place, and then as Ulster edged even closer, and the referee told Glasgow several times to keep their hands out of it, and they decided not to heed his advice, and he's given the penalty. But probably what Ulster certainly deserved. Well, he hasn't been given a kick at the Glasgow post since about 6 or 7 minutes before half-time, Paddy Jackson. So over half an hour of this game has elapsed. Still about 12 minutes remaining. This to open the gap to 9 points. And he's missed it. Well, the first miss, Mark Anscombe, Johnny Bell.
Black 6.
We'll be debating that. Nobody more so than the perfectionist, that's Paddy Jackson. Just hooked it. Glasgow making
21, let's stay behind the ball.
Another replacement. James Eddy is the back row replacement, or second row as well. Taken in by Ulster, by Luke Marshall. Payne had to check. Support by McElwain. Paul Marshall, Jackson, Williams. Gets across the halfway line. Oh, yellow card, no question about that. Murray Lowe making no attempt whatsoever. Deliberately lazy running. Knew very well he was going to cause a bit of a blockage, and he's gone to the bin. Good, no-nonsense refereeing by the Welshman Ian Davis.
Yeah, can't have any complaints. The referee's warned both teams on a number of occasions, as we see the wrecking ball that is Williams up the centre of the park again, and then just kicking the ball there. Knew exactly what was going on, and penalty resulting. Ulster again find themselves back in the Glasgow 22 and searching for a way to break down this defensive line and put this game to bed.
About 11 minutes remaining. As we mentioned, well, 20 minutes ago, 15 minutes ago, Ulster will be content with the 12-6 final scoreline. But the way they're playing at the moment, they're capable of a little bit more. Herring has been outstanding. Henderson, Marshall, Luke Marshall. Good ground made by the young blonde centre. Paul Marshall again. Williams to Henderson. Quicker ball. Ulster coming in at an angle. Tom Court, side entry as the referee said. So opportunity wasted, possession given away. Just a little bit of over anxiousness, I think, on the part of Tom Court. Well away by Stuart Hogg.
And a brief respite for Glasgow, who've had no possession in this second half. They've defended for the majority of it. I'm sure they'd like to go through some phases with ball in hand. Still some opportunity with only a 6-point margin separating the team. Rory Jackson's shown he can bring that creativity to break down defences, and he's the sort of player they'll look to come up with something.
Well, making no attempt to get himself into an onside position there. Referee left with no option but to yellow card him. Rory Jackson, who's got Glasgow's 2 first half penalties, back untidily on the Glasgow side.
Knocked forward from Black.
And it was knocked forward by Glasgow from the top of that line out. It's Ulster's scrum.
Hit the shoulder and then come back.
Into the last 10 minutes.
And once again, it's that Achilles heel for Glasgow. Line out not functioning. Their not the first opportunity, but one of few opportunities they've had in this second half to establish any phase play and attack, and it's undermined at the first hurdle.
And they really have missed the experience and expertise and the captaincy of Alistair Kellogg, who is excellent at all of the above.
Yeah, it really has been their undoing tonight. They've been unable to establish any authority in the set piece. That's resulted in a dearth of possession for them, and they've been forced to defend for long periods and hence have not made much of an impact on that scoreboard.
At the end of the Glasgow bench there, just hand in chin, a very contemplative Gregor Sterling. Mind you, it is not over. Good Ulster scrum. Williams, Marshall, little kick for McElwain, who's legging it, as indeed is Henry. Back go Glasgow.
20 in front of the kicker.
Chris Henry gives away another penalty. He was in front of Paul Marshall when the ball was kicked. All eyes on David McElwain, who was coming from an onside position. But Chris Henry just in front of the kicker and was closing down the Glasgow defender. Well, we said it wasn't over, you know, and I mean, a converted try could steal this for Glasgow.
Yeah, Rory Jackson is the one responsible for trying to establish this field position, but you'd like to see Glasgow just shorten the line out, go for an easy ball, just secure possession. It has to be the sole focus of this line out. Nothing too fancy, go to whatever your go-to ball is, secure possession and work from there.
Well, this is a very difficult time now for Ulster, and the Ulster coaching team will be somewhat on the nervous side. Because if Glasgow can secure possession as they have done and conjure something up, it could be a different ball game. Good strong driving in the middle of the park by Glasgow. Chris Cussiter. Van der Merwe has come in off his wing. Cussiter again. Another replacement, James Eddy, who's a big strong fellow. Glasgow with a lot of mobile forwards there. Cussiter. That's gone backwards, said the referee. Fry didn't like that. Ulster being told to get out of the way. Rory Jackson. Ascarty. Van der Merwe. Mark Bennett taken down inside Ulster's 22. Concerning times for the home side, who dominated the second half without any return. Good tackle. And Gordon Reid, the replacement, but Cussiter's there. There's a hint of an overlap. Jackson. Hogg. Hogg again. Lovely dummy. Here we go again. Ulster have got to get men across, and Glasgow, well, only 5 or 6 metres away, and Glasgow pushed into touch. It should be an Ulster line-out, but 7 minutes to go, and you still would not be putting the mortgage on Ulster at this stage.
He's off the field, he's fine, and everyone else
great work from Hogg. I haven't seen much of him, but he did that particularly well, and excellent work by Jared Payne in concert with McElwain. It looked like Henry to get Glasgow over the sideline.
Good support from James Eddy. Everything wearing number 23, which is normally the number worn by the last of the replacement backs. Glasgow, incidentally, of their 8 replacements, 6 were forwards and only 2 were backs. Injury one of the Glasgow players, but it is an Ulster line-out.
Still down with a head injury over there.
Bit of a stoppage still for that injury to a Glasgow player. Now they're going to play on again. It was Mark Bennett who was getting himself sorted out, and he seems to be fine. Good check at the line out by Muller. Marshall away. Roger Wilson goes to ground.
Don't interfere.
Marshall. Jackson. Oh, he's got himself caught. It wasn't a great pass, to be fair. Ulster over their own line. If Glasgow can squeeze a 5-metre scrum, they have done. Now, this could be calamitous for Ulster. 6 minutes to go. If Glasgow score here, a try and a conversion would give them the lead. And that was good closing down on Marshall.
And due reward for Glasgow that they've created this opportunity through the agency of excellent defence. It's the one thing they've certainly done better than Ulster this evening, is the desperation they've shown in defence. That's created this opportunity, and they'll have their defence to thank for it if they can sneak this game through a converted try.
Well, anxious looks. Johnny Ballop, fingernails chewed. Mark Anscombe looking somewhat disconcerted, and you can hardly blame him. His side have dominated this second half, have probably wasted about 3 try scoring opportunities, and here they are now with a defensive 5-metre scrum.
Black ball.
Most important set piece of the game so far. Glasgow have had to take off a back row forward and bring back on another prop. That's how close they are. 5 minutes remaining. Also need a big squeeze. That's a good Glasgow 7-man scrum. I think they might have put a winger into the blind side there. They have indeed. I think Ascarty has actually gone into the blind side flanker position.
Both front rows up.
Ed Kalman has come back on to play on the tight head side. Clock is still ticking away. Just over 5 minutes remaining, and 6 points between them.
Crouch.
Chris Cussiter.
Bind. Set. Yes, right.
Good Glasgow scrum has collapsed, and also get a penalty. Penalty went against Ed Kalman, who says me, and Tom Court will be mighty relieved that didn't go against him.
Straight down.
Yeah, Ulster will be very pleased to get out of this situation, get out of their own half as quickly as they can. They've created plenty of opportunities tonight. They haven't capitalised on any, and as a result they find themselves nervously with only a 6-point margin and just over 4 minutes left on the clock.
Well, there was nothing wrong with things in this side of the scrum. It was the other side of the scrum, the Ulster loose head and the Glasgow tight head side. But that all came about by Ulster conceding a couple of penalties near the opposition goal line, and conceding some 60 or 70 metres, and the possibility of a try. Well taken by Tua. He's been outstanding out of touch as well as around the park.
3 back, dunk around. Go.
Kelman almost give away another penalty. Paul Marshall's kicked that very nicely. Van der Merwe's underneath it. Good tackle by Henry on the Canadian. Back on the Glasgow side. Now have they got men to play with? Here comes Ascarty, the Argentinian international. Cussiter again took the right option. They've got a man or two over here. Herring's got to get across. First up, tackles have to be made. McElwain just gets somebody by the collar. Here's Cussiter. Dangerous times now for this Ulster side. Still ahead. Just over 3 minutes to go. Cussiter. Rory Jackson. Stepped inside a tiring Nick Williams. Cussiter again. Jackson. Johnny Gray gets it away nicely. Ulster getting men across, but they're on their own 10-metre line. Chris Cussiter. Rory Jackson looking for a bit of help. Moved wide. Knocked forward by Hogg, who's had an awful game, a shocker.
Hands wide.
All slowed down. Gray. Ulster getting men across to the narrow side. Cussiter again. Ed Kalman. James Eddy. Cussiter. Ulster nearly getting themselves out flying. Oh, Marshall missed a crucial tackle there on Ascarty. Van der Merwe is so quick, he's got away. He's gone, Van der Merwe. Oh, Ulster just managed to hold him down. I think it was Henderson got to him. Still there for Glasgow. Are they going to snatch this? Penalty has been conceded, I think, by Ulster. Taken on by Richie Vernon. Into the final 2 minutes, that very nearly was the winning of the game, and it still could be there for Glasgow. Johnny Gray makes a bit of ground. Ulster towering by the second. Glasgow with huge momentum have still got the penalty advantage according to the referee.
18 release.
Chris Cussiter. Bennett. And the referee brings them back for the penalty. 3 points, Ryan, no good to Glasgow. They've got to go for the scrum, and there's still time for the line-out.
Yeah, quick tap would have been the ideal one, but it's slowed down. They're still going to take the option, need players with him.
They have taken the tap, and it's Richie Vernon who takes the tap. Taken on by the replacement prop, Gordon Reid. Cussiter. Jackson. Oh, Glasgow got the try. Referee gets the hand up. It's James Eddy gets over. And Ulster have shot themselves in both feet. Conversion to come, and there'll be no time for Ulster to come back. The conversion will win the game for Glasgow, and Ulster will be ruining mistakes and failure to take gilt-edged chances. Good drive by Reid, went to ground. Cussiter did the right option. What a good pass. Jackson, sweet little setup. Eddy in for the clincher.
Well, Glasgow, they've had limited opportunities in this second half, but they've made it count at the crucial time to get that try. It looks like it should just be a tap over for the additional 2 points to take the win. And Glasgow have built this on nothing other than that die-hard defence that they have shown throughout this second half. It's what kept them in contact, and ultimately it's what's put them in position to win this game.
Hogg, right between the posts, no mistake. Referee is asking Peter Ferguson if time is up. The TMO says the time is up. And Ulster, well, you have to say, have only got themselves to blame. 12-6 up. They should have been 18-20, more points up by the time the game went in the last 5 minutes. And you've got to give Glasgow full marks for their stickability and determination to come back and win this game. And one score was always within their reach, and they reached out and they took that score.
Very few occasions will you see a team that was so dominated in the set piece that gave away territory, that gave away possession, but it was their defence and their team spirit that kept them in this game. Ulster created a number of opportunities that should have led to tries. They weren't able to capitalise on those opportunities. Glasgow managed to stay with them and ultimately took the one opportunity they had in this second half and converted it into a match-winning try and conversion.
Well, Ulster played so well in the second half, but were unable to convert all the good things into crucial points. And Ulster have gone down for the second league game in a row, and they've got a losing bonus point, but that will not suffice. Far from the start to the season, Ulster would have wished they'd gone down here at home in the most dramatic fashion. In the dying minutes, Ulster 12 and Glasgow 13.
Well, it certainly wasn't a classic, but it was a thrilling smash and grab job by the visitors. Ulster dominated the first half, but their finishing in the second let them down. And in the end, it was Glasgow who snuck in to steal a 1-point victory. Well, it was a new revamped, new look Ravenhill, but it ended in a damp squib. And credit to Glasgow, they hung in and took their opportunity.
Absolutely, you know, and to be honest, I'm just sitting down here thinking they didn't probably deserve to win it, but the fact that they kept playing made them deserve to win it for me. I mean, their defence was the key to their, was a key ingredient for their success tonight. You know, Ulster had their opportunities, they created a couple of opportunities, didn't take them. Glasgow, it took nearly 38 minutes to get into the Ulster 22, got there once, one visit, one try, simple.
Ulster must be absolutely kicking themselves. It's so many opportunities to put that game to bed in the second half.
Very much so. They will be gutted, and Glasgow played their get out of jail card, but you know, as the game wore on, the momentum, the pressure that tore into the heart of the Glasgow defence was ultimately actually Glasgow's benefit, because they managed to break. We talked about the game breakers. DTH Van der Merwe gave them the territory, the first visit into the 22. The pack did the business, but also will be kicking themselves. There was a couple of opportunities down this near side that really they should have taken, especially when they had Murray Lowe in the off the field and yellow carded.
I'm sure it won't come as really any consolation to Jared Payne that you've nominated him as the man of the match this evening.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, Jared played particularly well, and whenever he had the hand and ball, he always looked a bit of a threat, you know. He's such a cool customer, makes the right decisions. We said at half-time, he's a tasty player and just very cool, calm, and he doesn't just put any kick in, he puts a kick with a bit of spin on it. But every time I noticed in this game, we went to ground there, the ball was very easily. We didn't need too many Ulster players to win the ruck. He always presents the ball exceptionally well.
What I liked also, Andy, is some of the attacking movements. He goes into that first receiver mode, he takes over from Jackson and gets involved in the game an awful lot. He repositions himself and recycles himself in the game.
Okay, let's hear from the man himself, Jared Payne.
Well, Jared, for what it's worth, you're the man of the match, but a sucker punch at the end.
Yeah, it was. Full credit to Glasgow, they held us out, and then they were good enough to score when they got in the 22, so well done to them. We just weren't good enough when we were in their 22 tonight.
The chances were there in the second half, but just ball not going to hand.
Yeah, yep, you said exactly. We've got ourselves in the right position, had plenty of cracks, but just our own mistakes killed us. And as I say, full credit to Glasgow, they defended their hearts out and deserved that last try at the end, I have to say.
Was it frustrating? You had a lot of ball, but they seemed to slow you down a lot of the breakdown.
Yeah, yep, it was a bit frustrating, but you know, we got to be better there. We want to play with the ball, with quick ball at the breakdown, and at times we generated it, looked good and felt good, but other times when it mattered, Glasgow really slowed it down. So as I say, well done to them.
Can you take positives from much of that second half performance?
Yeah, I think there are. It's an improvement on last week, so obviously we didn't get the result, but a step in the right direction is never a bad thing. So hopefully we can just keep building and improve again next week.
Best luck next week. Thanks, Jared.
Cheers, thanks a lot.
When Ulster see the highlights reel of the chances that they had in the second half, they will know simply that they should have put one of them under the post, score and finish off this game.
They'll be absolutely gutted. I think you know, certainly Barry Jackson took the ball to the line well, and you know, this is Payne recycling himself well, and Tui also played well, and it's you know, Mueller, I should say. But it was this particular opportunity up that wing when the ball was spilt here by Michael Allen. You really felt ball in hand, and that's a gift. Absolute gift.
Yeah. And you know, Ulster create these opportunities. This game, the way the game is played now, that's what we want to see Paddy Jackson doing, attacking the line. That's what he's great at. And boys running off his shoulder. We're creating opportunities. But the level of rugby these guys are trying to play at now, when you create an opportunity, you must finish it. You can't have missed opportunities. That's cost Ulster again tonight. There's 2/3 opportunities they created, but they were unable to finish them. If they want to go further in this competition, or any competition for that matter, they've got to be clinical. They've got to be hard on themselves.
Like Glasgow were at the end. They got their opportunity, Scott, and they took it.
Yeah, they did. They gained this territory with a great beat with DTH Van der Merwe, as I said earlier on, but it was the pick and drive game. They got some space in behind the back. And James Eadie, actually, when he came off the bench, he made a big difference. But the defensive line from Ulster wasn't set there. They came up at 6 and 7s. And again, Andy and I were just saying, they allowed Glasgow back into the game. They were standing off them. That press defence wasn't there for Ulster, and it allowed Glasgow the opportunity to sneak through the keyhole.
Well, it's a sucker punch this evening. Ulster have been beaten at home. We'll be back with the next game. Next up for Ulster, it's an Irish derby. Connacht against Ulster next Saturday at 6:30. So do join us for that game. But unfortunately tonight, in this beautiful new look, revamped Ravenhill, Ulster were unable to deliver a good old-fashioned win. It's played to and lost to from all of us here at Ravenhill. It's bye-bye.
Any fresh steps or watch it all fall apart again.